Hey everyone, Teehashee here, and we are back with RogueTech, taking on the forces of the Evil Directorate. And here we're looking at the long-promised served cold mission here on Smithen's moon. We'll start that post-haste. So here, Kamea is basically reminding us why we're taking on this revenge mission of seemingly no military advantage to us, and as we'll find out later, actually a great political detriment. Might even be a net loss to for Kamea and her forces to have taken this mission. Because what are our goals to get Lord Kurosis to help us decode the information on the Argo, which will inevitably reveal a star map to an SLDF base, which we attack. And in both cases, the attack on the Newgrange reaps major negative repercussions on our forces. One, because we don't successfully capture this SLDF base, and later we have to fight the Taurians at their full strength for much longer than we probably would have because of our decisions here. That's all with the benefit of hindsight. Of course, Lady Arano is doing her best under the circumstances. She believes that this information is going to be a game changer. So here we're ordered to attack a civilian transport vessel. This still serves our cause to an extent, because it is believed that the Newgrange is operating as a smuggling vessel, and it is a Union-class dropship, so not to say that Union-class dropships can't be civilian, but it's predominantly a military vessel. I don't even know if they bring that up here, though. She's got a point here. The directorate has been well funded, much better than the Oregon coalition before this point. Definitely with forces on par or better than what we have to use to fight them with, especially numerically. This is an interesting point. It's very heavily armored, even for a Union class dropship. So this is our strategy, basically. Instead of attacking a civilian dropship that is fortified for seemingly no explicable reason, we're going to attack a civilian depot instead. We'd like to bring up this doubt, though we are the mercenaries in this job, and it's not like we're going to change anyone's mind. Madeira believes Lord Corrosis as well. Um, this can devolve into an argument about doing the right thing here. Um, and it is a complicated attitude because the commander seems to be suggesting that if there was one civilian working on the Newgrange, we wouldn't attack it. Right? I need to know that there aren't any innocent people on that ship. Uh, but again, the commander consistently comes off as a little naive, especially to a full scale war like we're in, and like the succession wars are. Civilian casualties are absolutely appalling during the succession wars, and this is what we're doing is kind of a mini succession war. Um, and so it's not an excuse, but civilian casualties, of course, are inevitable, especially since even at like a full fledged military base. Obviously, it's a military base, but you know anything about any sort of modern military base, it's got civilians working all over it. But it would still be a prime target for any competent enemy, and they definitely wouldn't pull their punches, despite the fact that there were civilians there. So let's bring up this point instead. It's a little bit more moderate. Kamea lays out her point, and she has a plan even where she wants to compel a surrender rather than to destroy the Newgrange. And that's the best we can hope for. So here we're going to learn about a phantom lance, but it's important that for many reasons that we take on this mission, because we learn uh, we learn that it's Lady Victoria protecting the Newgrange, and that's an important piece of evidence for later in the story. Here we're asking for intel, always smart, always ask for nothing. We know nothing about their defenses. And it's because Lord Corrosis doesn't know the lance that he sent didn't come back. Okay, here we go. We have the Warhammer. The Warhammer is a highly heat efficient mech. Um, and it doesn't have nearly the damage potential as the Thunderbolt, but it is more heat efficient. And it's going to probably be replacing one of our mechs for this kind of job. Really, probably the Quick Draw is a good replacement. That lets us keep the damage of the Thunderbolt. Glitch is going to be in the backfield, giving us fire support. I think that's good enough for now. Let's take a swing at it. Okay, here we are over the moon. Seems like the moon has an atmosphere. Pretty interesting. I see clouds. And it looks like there's some populated areas. Loading screen. Loading screen hopes and dreams. We've had a lot of YouTubers that track um, and make content for World of Warcraft. Willie, Preach, Asmongold, Taliesin, all of them have made recent videos concerning the scandal, and a lot of them have announced that they will no longer be covering World of Warcraft content. Uh, Back in the ancient times, at the dawn of the world, I was a WoW player, um, and left the game predominantly for two reasons: the rapidly declining quality of the game. I left it in Cataclysm, though. Sort of mid Cataclysm is when I left. Um, but yeah, um, rapidly declining quality of the game, bad storytelling is another reason. We've got these split turret generators we have to take out. Expense, right? Even before like the cash shop and everything was added to the game, which was not quite a thing when I was playing, if I remember properly. But regardless, it's an expensive game to play. But also the kind of deplorable politics of World of Warcraft. Um, you'll probably hear me say at some point that Blizzard doesn't necessarily make bad games, they make bad people. And I said that sentiment back, in the 2010s, and it's only become more true throughout time. Um, and now it seems like the last good people, if you consider most of those YouTubers good people, like I think you can. I think a lot of them are good people. They're stepping away from the game and not going to sully their reputation with it, which is saying something, because you might consider like a YouTuber compared to a multi-billion-dollar company small scale, but you still have that YouTuber saying, my name, my reputation, and my morals as a person are still more valuable to me than this game that I've been playing for some of these guys for 2 decades or more. So, um, or somewhere around that time. It's definitely not been a short amount of time. But anyway, enough of that business. Let's get on with the fun. We're going to act as quickly as possible to neuter these turret defenses. Looks like we need to start training in guts, because I think that does help with heat management. So we've got the large lasers. I think we can... 48 damage. That's pretty impressive. That's like PPC damage. We're not generating enough heat, so we'll just fire both of them, which was good because we missed with one. Okay, so the Newgrange will be looking to escape in 11 turns. If we do our job properly, it shouldn't be a factor, but we just don't know yet what's going to happen with that. Let's reserve these guys. Okay. getting this commando in our Goldilocks zone. How much heat is that going to generate? Even with the lasers off, it's quite a lot. So I think we'll just shoot the AC-5 for now. There we go. Because we're going to be pretty much pushing this turret generator. Can we sprint that? We can. I'm sure you can tell that I'm just not terribly happy with my movement options here. Can't end the turn on a road. Can't do much of anything with what I've got here. So let's just get us as far forward as possible. And then we're just going to shoot to manage heat. Something like that. Okay. That commando is getting out of town. Does not want to fight two heavy mechs. These defenders are also pretty damaged. Probably Directorate Militia is what I would guess. We're just gonna reserve. Here's some medium mechs, Wolverine. Man, right in the head. Let's see how that went. Not great. Not great. Fortunately, we're still not getting eyes on that fuel station. We're going to reserve these guys and make a decision what to do with them later, is what it looks like. Kind of a depressingly short jump we have there. But I think the more aggressive we are here, the better off we will be. I think there's nothing wrong with continuing just to stack some free damage on this commando. It's a miss. Might have been smarter to fire with the LRMs, just to ensure a little bit of damage. We could go for the sprint. It's likely that the dragon in the backfield will inspire panic and cause them to try and figure out which way they should be facing. We also have eyes on the prize. We have no real reason not to shoot at this thing. It's what we're here to do. Okay. So, herein lies the gamble. So Kamea behaves as if she knows exactly what the Newgrange is, despite the fact that we don't. This is a smart ploy to hopefully cause the commander to panic and spill his guts. But unfortunately, her ploy does not pay off. So here he changes his story slightly. There are unarmed people on this vessel, which isn't a very good look. Hold full of passengers, and you're going to kill them all, which is undoubtedly the truth. So they cut comms here, and they'll go up in flames without us really knowing what was in the Newgrange. Looks like they're trying to lift off. Man, all those shots hit. That's not cool. But the news is pretty bad because they're going to try to run for it. They're going to try and lift off, which is a terrible plan. They're also likely calling in for help, which is going to be showing up at some point. Another hit to the head. Alright, we're going to get her to move. I think we're pretty much going to let her blast the heck out of that turret generator. There we go. And we're going to start being very aggressive to give Glitch the breathing room she needs. We have no heat. That'll do, I think. to see if they're going to continue pressing their attack on glitch. They're not, which is what we want. This is kind of the panic that we were looking for. No one's focusing fire, everyone's hitting different targets, trying to take the advantage that they can, but it's just not going to be good enough. A miss. That stinks. There we go. Okay. Bad guys are here. Usually a little bit better to wait so that you can wipe out the lance before the bad guys show up, but I wasn't sure if that's still how the mission worked. So here they are, and they've got opinions. The ladies are upset with each other. All right. Looks like that reset the round as well. Oops. I actually don't know what the right call is here. Because if we do a attack, we might... No, we'll do a melee attack. I'm being silly. Pretty sure this is Victoria herself. Actually don't really know what she's in. know if it's much use to fire the LRMs. Not saving that much heat either, though, so. Here comes the Wolverine. That's the Centurion moving. Yeah. Oh, he hit his autocannon 10. What a hero. Ow. Warhammer's got a lot of armor, though. Looks like... we'll do something like this. Oh, we missed. Dang. That was a bad tactical play on my part. We're getting stuff done, but not as much as I would like, if I'm being honest. Public enemy number 1. Yeah, I should have waited to destroy the nuke range. We're going to take a lot more heat than we needed to. Okay, Behemoth, let's get you out of trouble. There we go. I got lucky there. Pretty much wasting the time of those guys in the backfield. It's going to take them a lot to catch up with the Lance, and so I'm thinking about stretching them out, making them work to get up to us. Here come the PPCs. Duh. much heat has the Thunderbolt got? Oh, he's backing off. Oh, that's great. We're leaving the catapult up here to do all the work. I figured we'd lose line of sight of this thing falling back like this. Let's see. No, we didn't though. That leaves the catapult to push forward. There they're using their Centurion like a long-range mech, like it should be. We're gonna push back its initiative another turn. Here comes the dragon. Or should I say, enter the dragon? Alright. Pretty sure it's time to start advancing again. We just don't want to get up there too far and give that fire starter an opening. We really want to be committing to melee on our terms. It's the best we got for right now. Alright, let's see what the catapult's gonna do. Gonna run. I mean, they're cycling their units, kind of. Here comes the fire starter again. So instead of letting us, basically what their strategy is, instead of letting us focus fire on one unit comes up and takes hits, sort of in a diamond formation, and then they rotate it out. We got lots of evasion. Let's just wait. Here comes the Centurion. They got a chance to catch their units up, so it's our lance versus theirs. They're not shooting at the scout, which is probably a smart ploy to not fall into. Does this count as road? It doesn't for some reason. Even though it's clearly designed for mechs, other heavy vehicles. We'll face our healthy side towards the bad guys. And we'll save you for another turn. Managing to lose heat, standing back here, punishing these guys like this. Probably going into the Warhammer, those PPCs. No? Shooting the dragon. Yeah, we can handle that. We might even go punch that catapult in the face for behaving so smartly. Oops. Got a big thunderbolt to show off. Looks like we need to turn a medium laser off. A couple medium lasers. There we go. It's all going into A, yeah, okay. Sorry, lady. That guy just fell over. I was saving an entire like Warhammer Alpha Strike for him, and now my Warhammer could do anything to you, except for DFA because we already screwed that up. Pew 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 pew. Thunderbolt can take it. Sorry, I'm thinking about whether I want to move the dragon now or in a second. I think we'll move him now, though. Not like that, you won't. Nice, very useful, Centurion. You could have done literally anything but that. Oh, that was the dragon. Even worse. Should be punching things. Speaking of punching things, I'd like to go punch the Centurion, but it's really not going to be necessary. We got someone to punch. We've got a great punching candidate. I'm gonna limp away. I mean, what else can you do after that? And that's why we have jump jets, folks. Those large lasers are not going to be necessary. Literally one shot from anything, and she's toast. They'd have to all go into the leg. Sorry, Victoria. Not today. Alright. can't tell if the dragon is located on uneven ground. It doesn't really matter though, because we're going to bully the Centurion. Oops. Get a good idea where our Goldilocks zone is. We might just walk this out. Oh, he's gonna box with us. Oh, big dodge. Thank goodness too, because punches from the dragon. We take that seriously. Mostly looking at capitalizing on this knockdown as much as we can. Ooh, speaking of which, I might ignore that torso entirely. No, too much heat. Never mind. Pew. Not looking great for you guys. More so I can keep this dragon on their toes. Set back their initiative a little bit. In like one alternate universe that was a kill shot, but you need some decent luck for that to come together. Let's just reserve a turn. It looks like the dragon is on unstable ground. That is a long shot. Instead of that, because Behemoth is up, let's just use her what we built her for. Big boot to the back. That was better shooting too. Dirty. I think it's going to be with a knockdown too. Man. We've all been there, especially when you're learning this game. We've all had that happen. And it's I do feel for this guy. This is a bad way to go. Well, we pulled it off. I made tactical mistakes. Here we're gonna snag Lady Espinosa. Her Phantom Lance is all wiped out. We might run into them again though. Who knows, right? No one knows. Okay. Big payout for doing those missions. Despite like mistakes on my part, bad luck, headshots, all sorts of stuff, still a very, very clean run. 4 kills to the Thunderbolt. Mad respect there. We set up earlier salvage of this catapult, so here we are paying that off. Looks like we're going to get a Centurion as well. And we could grab the 2 slices of the fire starter because the entire fire starter went down. We didn't plan for that, but that's how it turned out. It's mostly to pay bills though, so I think I'm gonna take the chunk of dragon and then 1 piece of the fire starter. And yeah, that's what we got. We didn't get any other mech parts from there, nor did we get any decent weapons. What we got is what we got. But that's good enough, isn't it? That's good enough. No need to be greedy. So here we see the immediate aftermath of our decisions. But whether it's a victory, leave something to be explored later. Got a little bit of doubt. Just having a good time with this. So here she alludes to the situation they set up with the director and the Taurian Concordant, and we've only just made it worse. So she continues either with the assumption or with the gambit that it is indeed a smuggling ship. We still don't really know, though. See, here we go. So she straight up explains that it's not a smuggling ship, but what it was, we don't ever really get a very good idea. We can twist the knife like she's trying to do. And I don't really mind boxing with Lady Victoria, especially now that she's in a box in my hold. She's all about pulling cockpits into. Apparently, that's her favorite line. This is true. So basically, the idea, it's sort of fascist ideology, if you want to call it that, but it's probably more basic than that, and nothing so lofty or complex. Basically, what she's arguing is that the Espinosas wanted the Oregon coalition to militarize so that it could defend itself, basically. This is a good point. Not really established since we skipped the tutorial, but Raiju taught both of them, not just Kamea or our commander. So she basically argues that it's worth it, and that, you know, pretty much is fascist ideology. Um, and she says she thinks of it as a price, and she thinks of it as a price that she paid. This is good storytelling because we find out later that it was her, specifically her, that committed the genocide that brings the Taurians into the war on the Directorate side, misdirects the Taurians to join the Directorate side. Madera, you big softy. He also brings up that she lost all of her people, which she doesn't seem to bat an eye at. We can pay off, an extent, our desire for revenge here. Um, you don't have very much useful stuff to say in here. She also isn't really our pawn to sacrifice, unfortunately, since we did all the work, but that's how it goes sometimes. I like that. That's all good stuff. Better coming from her than from us also. She mentions the successor states, but I don't really know what. I mean, this is obviously her perspective on her father. This is how she feels about her relationship with her father. She does it because he compels her to. But you know, we a successor state doesn't really get pulled into this conflict. The Taurians definitely, and the Taurians are plenty. But like the Federated Sons or the Capellans, not so much. Maybe the Capellans gave them some mechs. I don't really know. Seems like something the Capellans might do. Okay. So she's going to give Vittoria over to Lord Corrosas, which seems like a diplomatic play. This conflict costs Lord Corrosas everything, but it's not a bad move. It's an okay move. He wants revenge on her as well, but and explicitly says that he would possibly execute her, but not happening today. Okay, so Lord Corrosas has come over to our side. This might be a smart thing to bring up now, but he doesn't know any more than he did before the mission. I don't think we piece any more new information, but we'll bring it up. Yeah, see, we just don't know. and this, I agree with this point. Um, but unfortunately, what it seems is that not only does the Newgrange carry civilians, it's carrying diplomats. They're Taurian diplomats, or it's part of the Taurian liaison to the Directorate, and we destroyed that just now. Um, that's my take on it. We'll see if there's more to learn along the way. I like this point as well because she's crazy. Victoria is a genocidal maniac. All right. So here's the code breaker. Hmm. Oh, that's nice. He softens his tone quite a lot now that things have now that he's had his revenge to an extent. Hmm. We find out more about Otto's condition later. It's very sad. All right, successful diplomacy. That's a great thing to see. So that decryption device is decrypting. It's kind of a MacGuffin. It doesn't really play much of a part in the story, but here we go. Okay, another Centurion. Now we're talking. So I'm gonna do my housekeeping a little bit, and then I'm gonna sign off. Uh, Originally, honestly, I've forgotten all about this, but originally we were going to talk about the quick draw, that mission, and we'll probably have to talk about it down the road. Could have talked about the dragon as well, but lots of exciting things happened. Glitch almost died, 30 days recovery, and I made big mistakeys, so of which I kind of got out from underneath. So we're going to pull those machine guns off. Probably going to build another sniper, crab-esque sniper. Looks like we're going to need to buy more heavy heat sinks. No, jump jets. Looks like we need 4. going to be looking at tossing some heat sinks onto the center torso. And it looks like we need about a ton more of armor to max it out. It's definitely taken its toll. Actually, that's a lot of rear armor. It's probably enough. Getting close. There we go. Okay, nothing too fancy. You can do silly things with this mech. You can put autocannons on it. I might play around with it more. It's just that autocannons are so heavy. You can put support stuff on it, though the melee of such a mech is pretty bad. So its sniper profile is a lot better for it. We're going to dink around for a second and see if we can make AC2s work. Whoops. Look at the medium lasers. Maybe a couple more medium lasers. So here we have kind of a blackjack, right? And it's living in the space where, for the most part, you're going to be firing AC2s, sniping away at things, pew 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 pew, until you run out or things get close to you. And then you have medium lasers. That's not too bad a build. Especially because you need to have some knockdown capability. We could also try mixing it. So that's kind of the medium area. It's kind of a Franken mech. I usually like beautiful symmetry, but more a habit from MechWarrior 5, mostly because you want all of your guns to shoot and act the same way because it makes your gunplay a lot better. But this isn't too bad. For the most part, we got some heat efficiency back, we got some firepower, we've got some range, and we've got lasers. Only 3 of them. You know my dictum that it should be 4, but it is kind of 4. So we'll build that. So that's our second long-range fire support mech, looking pretty good, which means it's pretty much time to make the Kintaro back into a Kintaro. Attempting to leave this LRM-10 on the center torso. Definitely don't need 2 racks of ammo for it though. Boy, almost 200 of those small jump jets. Okay. Sort of LRM-10s do we have? It's kind of it, isn't it? Let's load up with these SRM torpedoes. Kind of a shame we don't have a half ton of LRM ammo. I don't know if that's a thing. There's an LBX-20. AC5++, Ultra AC-20. They're definitely scary guns on this door. But yeah, I only saw machine gun half ammo. It might be the only half ammo in the game because all you need is a half rack of machine gun ammo. Never come close to burning through it all. Okay. The only thing that I might do is drop this LRM-10 for an LRM-5 and put on heat sinks. I know that's boring. I'm sure people hate it. Looks like we also need our SRM ammo. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably 2 racks even. Seems like it would be a lot. We're gonna put on 2 heat sinks. Oh, we haven't maxed armor yet. Whoops-a-daisies. Whoops-a-daisies. That's annoying. It's my own fault though. I wasn't building it right. Alright, we got a little bit of spare tonnage. I don't like it when that happens. So I will probably force another heatsink onto the thing. The other option is to drop a jump jet, and we did that on the whatchamacallit, on the Wolverine, and that was a mistake. If we just did this. Okay. That's probably okay. Decent heat efficiency. We've got some firepower. We've got some ammo. I think that's where our mistake is. It's eating up too much tonnage. I don't think we have the narc, even if we wanted to place it. Gained a little heat efficiency from that as well. Lost a lot of range. I think that's what we'll have to live with for now, though. We should be able to manage our heat very well, though, by augmenting which SRMs we fire. Okay. I think that's that for now. And afterwards we'll continue our adventures and hopefully get a conversation about the quick dry in. Thanks for coming, guys. See you next time.